All right, we're gonna try to go finish planting beans on that 45 acres. I got my lunch box with, well, part of lunch and dinner in it. And we have got to disconnect the New Holland because we're going to take the seed tender out there with it, with our new fancy hitch that we welded on. So hopefully it don't break and fall off. All right, we're going to need this to slide into that hitch. There we go. If you recall last episode, we welded this in here so we can pick the, we don't have a pickup truck that can do gooseneck. So we're going to use the 3-point hitch to lift the seed tender up and take it. And hopefully that stays put. So again, Jim, if you're riding down the road and you see a seed tender on the side of the road and you're like, man, it looks like mine, it might be. Pretty good. That was a convoluted project straight from the mind of the majestic creature and myself. Holding it so far. I'm a little concerned about taking this down the road. I'm not sure if we got the horsepower to pull it, but we'll make do. Might be a little sketchy. Get the shake out of her about 50 miles an hour, we'll be all right. Well, we've been about 8 miles and it ain't fell off yet. I've been keeping an eye on everything, looking at the welds back there that I can see, and everything looks good so far. We hit some pretty good bumps. So I'll call this a success. And if you didn't watch the last episode, you're probably wondering why I am doing this with a tractor. The reason being is we don't own a truck that has a gooseneck. So rather than riding back and forth with the planter to try to fill up, I butchered an old receiver hitch that I bought for my old pickup truck, but the frame on that truck is just too far gone, and this thing's just been laying around. So I cut it up, adapted it, and welded onto the 3-point here, and now I can just back right up to this thing and move it. This isn't ours. The Pioneer Seed Company is letting us borrow it rather than dealing with, you know, 100+ bags of soybean. We're using this tender. They let us use this tender, and it certainly saves on the back, but we had to come up with a way to move it, and this is some redneck engineering that Eugene and I cobbled together, and here we are. So yeah, it's working. All right, we're here at the planter. The seed tender made it. It didn't fall off. I guess I don't know if I can consider myself a professional welder now or not. I mean, does it have to look good, or does it have to be functional? That's functional. So I grabbed the book for the planter here. I'll show you. In this book is a chart. Hey, like my fancy bookmarker here. This chart explains how to set the planter up for certain populations. Right now, the monitor is showing that we're planting about 120,000 seeds an acre, which is a little bit lower than I want to be. I want to be at 140. I planted that over there knowing I was a little low on population, but I figured, you know what, that's a good field, kind of have as a check to see if June 1st, 120,000 seeds per acre is going to hurt yield or not. You know, last year, we've been playing around with population for a few years, and it seems like every year we cut back population, and our yields, you know, given the year we have, our yields seem to always stay the same. So we've cut back on how many beans we're planting per acre. But I feel like if this was mid-May, I'd leave it at 120 and I'd be happy with that. But being that we are June, you've taken 2 weeks off the growing season. That's 2 weeks of less sunlight, you know, because with June in 21 days, we're gonna have the longest day of the year. And then, you know, these soybeans love sunlight. That's what really makes them grow. That's what really gives you your good yield. So in order to make up for the bean, the particular individual plant not producing as many beans, you just put more plants out here. But again, it's a balance, it's a give and take, just like with corn. You don't want so many that they choke each other out and they don't produce, and you don't want so few that they get extremely bushy and they can't hold themselves up, they fall over, they grow, you know, really tall, and they lodge. Lodging is where they basically interweave with each other, and then you have a heavy rain or wind event, which we have many of here on the Delmarva from coastal storms, and they fall down into a mat. They don't dry well, you lose yield, they combine like crap. I mean, they're really hard to pick with the combine. So that's where we're playing this game of you know, trying to see where we want the population. But I think we want to bump this up to 140, and we'll take a look at our yield differences and see what's right. So I want to check and make sure that our sprockets are set correctly, and maybe the monitor's just not picking up all the beans that are actually going down. Okay, it does look like we have one sprocket incorrect, and I understand how we made that mistake, but that's neither here nor there. What I want to do, get the tractor started, let the oil warm up in there, because with the hydraulic fan that runs the air pressure, when the fluid is cold, it's thicker and it doesn't spin the fan as fast, and you're always messing with it. So let that warm up, and I'll explain this to you up here. So these series of sprockets and chains here and here that come back to the drive wheels that contact this wheel, this setup is what's known as ground drive, and you can change how fast the seed plates spin by putting different sprockets in different places. We've got the wrong sprocket in one spot, so I got to change that one sprocket out on both transmissions. I've got one transmission, they call this whole thing a transmission. I've got one that runs this side of the planter, and there's one over there that runs that side of the planter. The one that was wrong was a 26, and we're going to be putting on a 22. And essentially, it's going to spin it faster. And this is not the easiest thing to get to, especially when you've been eating too much of Mama's cooking. One thing about planting soybeans with this planter versus planting corn, you know, when you're planting corn, you're 30 foot wide, you're covering at 5 mile an hour about 20 acres an hour. But when we're folded up like this, and basically the outer 3 rows, when it's a corn planter, become the back rows, and then you add that middle row on, and then you're planting 15-inch rows, you're only planting like 16, I think it's 16.25 feet wide. So it takes a lot longer to cover acreage, but we're getting there. We got the population right about where we need to be. We're showing an average of 130, anywhere between 134, 136. So it's a lot closer than it was. So it definitely takes a lot longer to get across the field. Right now we are covering about almost 10 acres an hour, 9.5, going exactly 5 miles an hour. You can see it there, and then verified on GPS shows 4.9. That's GPS. This is just off the wheel sensor. So we have a little bit of slip, or just out of, one's just not calibrated. I don't know. But anyway, we're getting there. The ground is absolutely perfect right now. I mean, you can see where our marker row was, the darker soil, that's all moisture. And you can tell, you know, it's darker over there where we've already planted, where the moisture is right at the surface. I mean, it is perfect, absolutely perfect for planting beans into. The top is just dry enough that it doesn't stick to the press wheels, but there's so much moisture there. We got sun on it. Those beans, I guarantee the beans that I planted yesterday are already swelled up. I wouldn't be surprised if they were out of the ground in 4 days. I mean, its conditions are perfect. Barring we do have a chance of rain tonight. So, I mean, a little bit of rain's not gonna hurt anything, but I would hate to see a hard, heavy packing rain in a thunderstorm because that would make the beans fight to get out of the ground a little bit. But fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Two other things are becoming pretty evident while I'm out here planting. One is the Landau did a fantastic job out in this field. So as we're learning how to use it, it's becoming a much better tool. The other thing that's becoming evident, the more I use this planter, this is our second year with this planter, this tractor has plenty of horsepower to pull it. This tractor has enough weight to pull it without much problem. However, it is painfully slow on the hydraulics. And it's something we either just got to live with or maybe look to upgrade to a tractor that's got a little bit better hydraulics. And you might be wondering why there's an issue with the hydraulics. It's not that there's an issue, but tractors, their hydraulic systems are rated in gallons per minute. So that's how much hydraulic fluid it can flow through the remote valves back there to operate the implement. 25 gallons per minute is what this tractor is rated at. Now that's fine to run the air pump on this, the fan. It's fine for the markers. However, the lift is pretty slow. I should be able to go to the end of the field and not have to stop, lift up the planter, turn around, come back, put the planter down. However, what I'm having to do is every time I get to the end of the field, I've got to stop the tractor completely, lift the planter up, because what happens is you don't know when the planter shuts off and when it engages, and then go. So it's just something we kind of got to live with for now with this tractor. And honestly, for no more land than we have, I don't know that I'll get another tractor for this. Eventually, I would like to get another tractor to have a backup large tractor in case Bluebell goes down, or Big Blue, or whatever we want to call her today. In case that tractor goes down, I'd like to have something else that I can fall back on to pull, you know, the Landau and our heavy tillage equipment. And who knows, maybe use it to plant with, you know, unless it's needed for the tillage. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm calling out all you fancy farmers out west with your GPS systems and having perfectly straight rows. Come on, man, it's a lost art. Hand steer the perfectly straight row. That's right, I'm calling you all out. All right, I am cheating a little bit because I'm kind of making corrections and following the little lines that are left by the Landau, which was steered by the tractor with GPS, but I didn't have to tell you guys that. You could just think I'm amazing and just keep perfectly straight rows across the whole field. I like the way that sounds better. I don't know about you, but I like going to a place that has multiple bathrooms. Got a bathroom here. You got one here. Sure, that could be a bathroom. Bathroom. Pretty much right here, bathroom. Bathroom. Yeah, why not? Bathroom. We'll call this a bathroom with a view, because you got, so why not? Bathroom. So I wanted to show you all something. You know, we started planting this field last night, about an hour before it got dark out. I really just wanted to get started, get the planter adjusted. But this is 24-hour difference in beans. I think that's absolutely amazing that in 20 hours, this thing has already begun to germinate. And we're gonna put that back. And you know what? We're gonna give it a friend. It's okay. Shh, you guys talk. All right, I know we got plenty of seed in here. Yeah, we still got a lot of seed. But I figured I might as well go ahead and top off while I'm on this side of the farm, because I'm gonna work my way that way. And there is a way to get back out on the road over there, but rather than deal with that, I'd rather just plant the rest of it and be done. Well, change of plans. The seed tender's out of gas. I forgot to check it when we left the farm. So the wife's gonna bring me some gas, but she's gonna be probably 30 minutes before she gets here. I'm not gonna sit for 30 minutes. I'm gonna get back to planting. The only thing we really gotta worry about is who do we blame for this? You can't blame me, I'm here. So there's Eugene, and it is Jim's tender. I think we ought to blame Jim. Jim the seed salesman, it's his fault. I like that idea. That's what we're gonna stick with. Jim, it's your fault, I blame you. Okay, let's try this again. The wife stopped by with a care package. So I'll be the first to admit, ladies, we can't live without you. We gotta have you. I gotta adjust this thing to night vision because it's pretty bright. There we go. That's better. Halfway decent sunset tonight. Nothing to awe and ooh about, but that New Holland over there, that's something to ooh and awe about. I think the camera makes it look lighter outside than it is, but I think it's time. The time has arrived. Let there be light. And the Shorebilly saw that there was light, and that the light was pure, and that it would guide him to finish soybeans tonight. It's the best I got, guys. I'm getting tired. Yep, just turned 10 o'clock. But I wanted to hop out. It's starting to get damp. I wanted to check our gauge wheels to make sure that we don't have any dirt building up on them, and that our seed is getting in the ground. So everything looks good. We're gonna finish it up. I've probably got about 2 acres left to go, mostly just end rows, and we'll be done with this farm. Well, that's it. The night is done. We're on the highway home. It's 11:30 at night. The beans are done. The planter tractor's already put away, and I'm left my pickup truck out at the farm to get the seed tender and the New Holland back. I don't want anything to get rained on with good seed in it, so I figured it's worth the trip to come out here and get it tonight. Well, that's going to do it for us. It is just a touch after midnight. I'm tired. I'm going to go and get a shower, go to bed. And if we don't get any rain tonight, get up in the morning and do it all over again. Well, I got work to do first, and then when I get off work, then we'll do it all again. You get it. Anyway, I got all my babies tucked in, so now of course I'm talking about the kids. These aren't my babies. Shh, I didn't mean it. They're my babies. By the way, doesn't it look nice? Jim, I think you ought to leave it here. It looks good hooked up to the New Holland. I'm just saying, just leave the seed tender. I mean, you don't really need it, do you? You don't want it back. Our hitch lived. No cracky crackies. It's all there. I hear it raining. We might not be planting tomorrow. We'll see. Depends on how much we get. It's late. I'm going to bed. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye from Delmarva. Shorebilly Farmer, out. Good night, ladies. Sweet dreams. Go to sleep, little tractor.